Welcome back. With me right now is the mayor of the city of Laguna Woods, Carol Moore, and as I said, this past Wednesday, they had their regular city council meeting. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
And several things we're going to talk about today. But you know what? I'm going to go down a couple on the list here because I think it's always neat when you folks do a commendation, and you did one as you do many times at your meetings, right?
Commendations are actually a little bit slightly different than proclamations. The commendation, but I'm glad you brought it up. The commendation was for Marilyn Tomes, who works for the county, and her contributions to the county in the area of water, because her role is to help interpret, I guess is the word I'm going to use, the funds. That we vote for funds, and we don't know precisely how do you tap into those funds.
Yeah.
And in this case, the state collects the funds that we voted, agreed that we wanted to support clean water.
Right.
And it had certain stipulations in there. Then the state provides information to the county, and those people can interpret it. And so their job, and they're very good at their job in this case, is to let you know what's available there. For example, our recycle program could not have occurred without the El Toro Water being able, and I'm sure they've explained this to you, so I don't want to take their role, but they were able to access those funds, and that helped supplement the money that they had to make it go further.
Right.
Because we all agreed that we want to have clean water, we want to increase the availability of water. So there's one. Right near us too, I'm telling you precisely what we gained and her contributions to us. Okay, right near us, if you were to travel south on Moulton, soon after you cross, can't recall the name of that. Oh, I think it's Los Alisos, or Laguna Hills Drive, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as you cross that street, not Los Alisos, as soon as you cross that on Moulton, to your right is Dairy Forks.
That's
Forks
right.
project.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
That project, the purpose of that project, and that also funds that came with Maryland's help to create a group, which was South Orange County Watershed Management Group, and through her knowledge on how to access those funds, that funds were available to create and prepare the land there for Dairy Forks, and it's it's cleaning up the Aliso Creek.
Yeah.
As when it rains, and you just commented, we're not going to get any, but when we do, there is film and all kinds of materials on the surface of the streets, including feces and urine and from animals and dogs and whatever. That material and those oils and those toxins are picked up and washed off the road, and they wind up in our stormwater.
Right.
So the Dairy Forks project, it's a simple project, and it involves plants. There are holding ponds there, and the plants that are in the ponds, first it's settling out those materials, and then the plants themselves help remove those materials.
Right. Yeah.
So when the water continues on to the ocean, it's not going to pollute. So there you go.
And a lot of the times that's...
And she was the contributor for
that's how our funds work, and people don't...
Helping us tap into them.
Even where I live, we have what's called Melrose, and they're really paid to the county and then funneled back to our city. I live in RSM, but you know Melrose. But it works the same way. A lot of times you're paying an upper agency, so to speak, and then it's funneled back down, right?
In addition to that, I just would like to throw out a word to make sure we understand, pardon me, because you hear criticism, well, we have administrators and what are they doing? The administrators, our country, I'm so proud of our country, because if you wanted to find out what happened, you voted for Proposition 1, let's say, and you say, well, I want to make certain that the money really went to those causes. You can trace that money, because that is one of the functions, that the people who receive are recipients of the money. They don't just get the money and do their project. There are requirements that information comes back to the state or back to the county, to whomever, I'm not sure who they report to. They have to show what they did. So they have to prove that what they did was effective. And you can say there's so many rules. Yes, there are, and I am one of those people that I see it, but I also see, do you want accountability? I want accountability.
Yeah. So that's great. Now, let's get back to another subject here, because I kind of jumped the gun because I wanted to talk about that first. And this is kind of a nice service here. And again, you know, these kind of funds come from different agencies and all. The bulky item pickup, especially electronics. And that's a big one.
It is.
You know, we're all stuck, unfortunately nowadays, computers and things become obsolete. Nobody wants them. Even if you have something that's only 5 years old, unfortunately, you spent thousands, it becomes worthless. What do you do with it?
I am glad you brought that one up, because obviously there are materials in many of those that can be harmful. So we can't put those out in our landfill. Absolutely. And this Saturday, which is tomorrow, is the bulky item pickup, electronics, and you can put those materials. There are trash receptacle areas, pardon me, throughout the community, and placing those materials there, they will be picked up.
Okay. Do you know batteries? Do you folks collect batteries at the city?
We do.
Okay.
The smaller ones, not from your car.
The little, yeah, not from your car, but yeah, flashlight batteries and stuff. And
we
that's
do accept
something
those. We
you
accept
certainly
sharps
also.
And I'm trying to think of some other materials that you can bring in there. Oh, your printer, your
the cartridges.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. You know, batteries especially, you don't want to be throwing those away.
Oh, absolutely not. See, all of that material, each of us, we are contributors, individually and collectively.
Yes,
we use all those materials. We know now not to place those in the landfill, so we need to do something about it.
Now, another good event that's coming up, and especially this time of the year, on the 26th, which is a week from today, there is going to be a shredding event, and it's going to be at St. Nicholas Church parking lot at 12:30. And this is, again, this time of the year, people are getting their taxes ready. You have all this extra confidential kind of paperwork, and this is a way to safely get rid of it.
That's what I do, and I bet you do too. I did have a shredder at one time, and then I didn't find it was very effective. So what I do is I separate, when I receive material, I have a bag that I put it in there that has something on there that's unique to me, that somebody could use it and identify and perhaps use it. So I set that aside, and it could be everything from actually my, I actually set aside my SCE bills. I like to look at them because I like to see my history of usage, and then, but there's information on there. And so you can tear that part off too and separate it, but I put that aside. All of that, those kinds of materials that you feel vulnerable, you don't want those out in the trash that somebody else could use them. Take them to the St. Nicholas parking lot, and the city is having a shredding event from 12:30 until 3:30. So you have about 3 hours, and it goes. You can go through very quickly.
Right.
That they have the cars lined up, have your stuff, so you just hand it out the window, and they'll take care of it.
Yeah,
for you.
Safeway, and that is next Friday.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not
next
today.
Friday. Now, library support, and people may not realize that you have a library service at the city.
We do, and I am so glad you brought that up. The library, and I've mentioned this before, how busy the libraries are in Orange County. I'm told that is not true in all parts of the nation, but libraries in our area, I can tell you, are very busy, and the county is very busy. Okay, the kinds of things our library connects you to, because you think, well, libraries are books. We don't. Why are we use Kindles or we use whatever? The library can connect you to new releases and bestsellers and classics. Of course, you'd expect that. Movies, music, and magazines, e-books and audiobooks. It also can connect you to large print books and books on tape for those people who may have a vision issue. Art books, graphic novels meaning pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
That has two meanings.
It does have two meanings.
I wanted to make sure we understood what that was. And sheet music, interestingly enough. Multiple copies of books for people who belong to book clubs. STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Those who are in our general area who need those resources, and certainly that's an area we want to focus on. Pardon me, genealogical research tools.
Yeah, That's a good one.
Those
yeah.
are used.
I like
Job advertisements and postings. And you might think, well, how many people in our area are really looking for jobs? We have a considerable
Yes.
number of
yeah.
residents who are still in the workforce, and that's good. We're going to work longer, so that's a good thing too. The library provides availability to all of that. Because of all that, because of the use, and I have mentioned this, and all the things that they do, and you also can take classes, by the way, on your individual electronic devices, your phone, or your iPad, how to access materials and use those more efficiently. Because our library is so busy, and we have I'm stressing the electronic part, which would be access to our computers, the county computers. We need more space, and we are out of space, and we're asking people who are supportive of education, as we have been, our nation has been, that we support, that you consider contributing to a library fund. It's a 501c3, and it's an opportunity for you to to visit the library, to support the library, and with funds. If you can find a way to do that, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it's great. The library system in Orange County is fantastic. And a couple other things, big issue, but it's moving along, is that you're still looking for people that can be on the dog park advisory group. And this is, of course, been, as you know, a big issue. But it's being worked on. It's getting there.
It's getting there,
Yeah.
and it was delayed for getting started, but anyway, we're on it now, and we had, I think, 6 months, I believe, no later than May, I think May the 1st, and it could be before that, but May the 1st, we hope to have the new, there are issues with water runoff. These are the kinds of things we have to think about today, where previously we didn't, and now we know that that's important. Okay, so addressing those kinds of issues, we're moving the dog park. It's still in the same general location, which is right there on Ridge Route. And so it will move, to me, that's further west. And so I hope, with the coast being at an angle, sometimes what seems west is north and south.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, in this case, it's just towards Moulton. And so the dog park is still getting close to finalizing design issues. And they have to address the water runoff and all those kind of things too. We need people to serve on the dog park. We'd like very much for them to participate. We have members. We still have some openings for interested residents. If they would call City Hall at 949-639-0500 and leave their name and information that would indicate they are interested in serving on that advisory group, that would be helpful. Yeah,
that would be fantastic. Also, this month coming up, I should say next month, February, I'm already into February, is Black History Month. And are you folks looking at
we are
kind of doing a few different things?
We are. This month, as you know, we're ending up this month. We recognize the contributions of Dr. Martin Luther King, and they were many. And so then next month, it's a wider look at the history of Black history, because and African American history, because history books were not as, what do I want to say, as detailed as they should have been. That's the way I'm going to put it. And because of that, sometimes you focused on events that happened, but you weren't really aware of groups who made contributions, and they were considerable. Black History Month, interestingly enough, in our county, Orange County, and so we're going to focus more closer to home, we have the number of people, I was told this by Fran Williams, who is a member of the African American Heritage Club.
Her.
Yeah, she does a great job. Their group does. And so she pointed out some details that were pretty interesting, that she said they're less than 1% of the county, that group. But their contributions to community service and science is considerable. I think you're going to be surprised. And so we have a number of functions, and the city does, in recognition of that. Of course, we will have the proclamation for their African American Heritage Group. We also have, we are planning that February 22nd, I believe it is is going to be a recognition of members of the county these are people that have served in various functions in community service, science, and they will be featured. Some of those people possibly will be speaking that evening. Then February 27th, I believe it is, we are planning for a gospel choir also at our, all of that was at the council chambers.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun thing.
Yeah, that will be fun.
I think the community, I'm sure, will support and will be interested and be entertained by all these events.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Now, finally, Southern California Edison is going to start work on Molten. As you probably have seen, they were on El Toro.
They are.
And you know, I have to say that they were very good at getting the traffic back flowing again during those traffic hours. By 4 o'clock and all, they were pretty much finished up. Instead of 2 lanes closed, they would maybe have still 1 or a right turn lane or something. But they were very good.
Thank you.
I was surprised.
I was too.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult. Well, this one is on Molten, and it has to do with I'm going to make sure I've covered all of it. That already started. It's in the middle of it now, and if you were out last night, you noticed it. So they were replacing the street lights in the medians on Molten Parkway between Via Campo Verde and Via Iglesia. The replacements are expected to be completed within 1 week, so that's possibly by it appears it's on target, next Thursday. During that time, 1 lane of traffic may be closed in either direction. The drivers are encouraged to exercise caution and consider taking alternate routes, as fewer street lights, so we're now talking about dark, will be operable than is typical. If you need more information, you can call City Hall at the 949-639-0500.
All right, but as I said, I was really surprised. You know, a lot of times people kind of mock and Southern California Edison, but they were speedy. Yeah, they did a great job. Yeah, very good. Good to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
I really appreciate it.
and we will see you next month.
You bet.
All right, take care, and we'll get more information, that gospel. That's
I think that'll be, there are a number of things.
All right,
Thank you.
Take care. We'll be back.